What up, y'all? It's your man, Mr. Mars Sharp, Shortman Filmworks in the building. And we have another episode of the Everyday Man's Film Reviews for you guys this afternoon. All right? All right, so today we're going to be talking about the 2025 release of Bugonia. All right? So let's get into it. All right? We back, man. We back. It's been a while since I've done these film reviews. I want to say the last film review I did was, man, that was back in the summer when F1 came out. That was the last film review that I did, and I just haven't been finding any movies that I really wanted to talk about. But I have seen some movies that I actually am going to post some videos about because I'm getting back into it. I'm doing my second watches, so we're going to get into that. But as of last year, excuse me, I haven't really found any movies that I really wanted to talk about. All right, so this particular one that I'm going to talk about today, I actually just finished watching not too long ago. All right, and it was the release of Bugonia back in 2025. As y'all know, it's 2026 now, and I believe this movie came out. I want to say it came out around like October, November of last year. All right, and I seen the movie posters of this particular movie, and a lot of times I'm not seeing a lot of trailers. So when I seen the movie poster and I saw one of my favorite actresses, which is Emma Stone, she's one of my favorite actresses, and I seen the poster and I was like, okay, well, I don't kind of know what this is going to be about. And I had checked out the trailer a little bit after it came out, and the trailer didn't really grab me too much, so I kind of skipped it, and I just said, okay, well, I don't think I want to see it because I don't know what it's going to be about, and I don't know what it's going to do. So here I am. I'm here today. Got me some lunch. It's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm looking for something to watch. You know, I got me some eats, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let me look for something to watch. And I happen to see this on Peacock, and I'm like, all right, well, let me check it out. I thought about seeing it when it came out. I didn't go see it, so let me check it out. You know, it's streaming now, so let's do it. And y'all know how it is with these movies now. Movies are coming out. They're in theaters. You don't get a lot of buzz about it. They're in theaters for like 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe a month, maybe 2 months if it's lucky, and then it's streaming. And then next thing you know, you're like, okay, I didn't even get a chance to go to the movie theater to go see it. But anyway, let me stop going because I'm rambling on. All right. So anyway, went on, played the movie, checked it out, and once again, here we go. 2025 release, Bugonia, starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Aiden. What's my man name? Aiden Delbis, and it's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. I'm trying to pronounce his last name. I don't know what kind of nationality it is, but I'm trying to pronounce his last name, and I hope I got it right on the pronunciation. Okay. All right. So this movie centers around two guys who are basically almost like conspiracy theorists, if you want to call them that, and they kidnap Emma Stone's character. They kidnap her character, believing that she's an alien trying to destroy the Earth. All right, and in the midst of watching this, when it first started, you know, I'm like, okay, I don't want to say you see where it's going, but you kind of get an idea of where it's going. You know, you start off with these two characters. You start off with Jesse Plemons' character, and you start off with Aiden Delbis' character, which is Teddy and Don. And you see that Teddy is the mastermind of this plot to kidnap these aliens and to keep them from destroying the Earth. You know what I mean? And he has Don as his accomplice. And you can kind of see that Don is a little slow. You don't know if he has a bit of autism. You don't know what's going on with him, but you know he's not quite there. He's not all the way there. And Teddy is his influencer. You know, and you get this idea like, okay, you see where it's going, that, you know, he has this conspiracy going on about, you know, this alien or these aliens trying to dominate and take over the world. And then what ends up happening is they end up kidnapping Emma Stone's character. Cannot remember her name. I think her name is Michelle in the movie. But they end up kidnapping Emma Stone's character. And when they kidnap her, they go through this entire plan. And as they're going through this plan, you kind of get an idea of what's going on, but you don't know what's going on. You kind of think you know where the movie is going, And when you think you know where the movie is going, it kind of, I don't want to say it changes on you, but it does change on you, because I was watching this movie and I was kind of falling asleep on it, because I'm like, okay, it's slow burning for like the first, I want to say like the first 45 minutes. For like the first 45 minutes, you get an idea what's going on. They set the story up. You see what's going on. You see what the characters are doing. And once they set it up, you kind of like, okay, this is kind of going to go in the direction that I kind of think it's going to go. And it kind of lost my attention in the beginning. It kind of made me drift off, because I was watching the thing and I kept falling asleep. I kept dozing off. I kept dozing off, and then I had to wake up. I rewinded back to what I missed. And then I dozed off again, and then I rewinded back. I don't dozed off in this movie about a good 5 or 6 times. But I was curious, because I'm like, okay, they kidnapped her, and I really wanted to know, is she an alien, or is this just a plot? Is this just something that's been cooked up by these two guys? But I ain't gonna say by two guys, but it's been cooked up by Teddy. And is she really an alien? Is she really alien? So that's what really kept me, because I'm like, yo, if she turns out to be an alien, this will be completely different. I don't want to say completely different, but it'll be a change. It'll be a change from what a lot of movies have led you to believe. You'll see the trailer and you think it's gonna go one way, and then it doesn't go that way, and then you're disappointed. You're like, well, that wasn't what I thought that was gonna be. But I can truly say that this movie delivered. You know what I mean? And I don't want to give it up, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. But I don't want to give up no spoil. I don't want to give up no spoilers, man, because if you've seen it, then y'all know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it and you're thinking about seeing it, then go check it out. You know what I mean? Because it did twist me. It twisted me in 2 ways. It had me go one way 1 minute, because I'm thinking, okay, nah, she's not an alien. She's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna play the game for a little bit. And she does. She plays the game. She plays the game with them for a little bit, because you kind of see that she's not your average kidnapped character. You know, she's got some brains about her. She's a smart cookie. She's a smart cookie, and she's like, okay, I gotta find out how to kind of play the game and manipulate it to where I'm not gonna get hurt, even though Teddy kind of puts her through some torturous methods and some torturous things, which makes him kind of further believe that she's this alien, because if she was human, she probably would have died going through a lot of these things. I ain't gonna say going through a lot of these things, but going through one particular torturous method that he does. He figured, okay, she would have died, but she's of royal descent with these aliens, because she withstood throughout the whole torture process. You know, so I'm thinking like, okay, she's just playing them. She's playing them. She's doing what she needs to do to get herself out this situation in the best possible manner that she can. And then when it turns, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I've been looking for. And it actually turns in a way to where you're like, oh, wow, she did turn out to be an alien. And I'm sorry if y'all didn't see it. Spoilers. My bad. If you didn't see it, I'm not going to go any further, but it turns, and then after it turns, it kind of starts to go another way. And then you start thinking like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. Is this really what I thought it was the first time? Because you kind of starting to think, you know what she was doing in the beginning of this movie. You know what she was doing and how she was trying to manipulate them and trying to make sure that, okay, if I go along with the story, then, you know, no harm is going to come to me. You know, and then as you start to get a little bit further into it, you like, oh man, I think it is kind of like, I don't think it's going in the way that I'm thinking it's going to go in, you know. So it shifts one way, and then it starts to turn in another way, and then it goes in another way again. So you like, oh, wait a minute now. I thought it was going this way, and it went this way, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It went that way, and then it started going back the other way, and you like, no, you kind of like, I don't want it to go that way, and then it kind of goes and shifts back in another direction. So it made me wait. It woke me up. It woke me up as soon as I don't want to say the cliffhanger, but as soon as I got to the turn, I immediately sat up on the bed. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I'm here for. in a lot of ways, it reminds me of 10 Cloverfield Lane. If you saw 10 Cloverfield Lane, you kind of thought that movie was going a certain way, and then when it turned, you like, oh, it was so satisfying. And I was like this with this movie. It was going one way, and I wanted it to turn in the way that it did turn, but I was still there because I'm like, okay, it might not go that way, and the way I'm looking at it, I don't think it's going to go that way. So let me see where this is gonna go. You know, after waking up 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, okay, let me commit to it. I kind of sat up a little bit. And you know, I'm still laying down, but I sat up a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I want to be invested because now I want to see where it's going. There's 2 flashbacks in this movie too that gets me intrigued as well. You know, and I'm not gonna go there. I want y'all to see the movie. I'm not gonna go there, but the 2 flashbacks intrigue me. The first one gets me, and I'm like, okay, maybe this got a little hint of what's going to go on. And then you have the second flashback, which is kind of almost like a flashback. It seemed like a flashback dream sequence. So that's another thing that kind of had me like, I don't know if it's going to go the way I want it to go. Because the first one had me thinking, okay, yeah, I think this is going to go the way I want it to go. And then you see the second one, and the second one just kind of sort of seems dreamy. It seems dreamlike, and you like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So, like I said, when it took that turn, I popped up immediately. I'm like, okay, now this is what I'm here for. I'm ready. I'm with it now. This is what I'm here for. So, shout out to the director, man. First of all, I want to say shout out to the screenplay writer, which I believe his name was Will Tracy. Shout out to him for creating a very original script. I haven't seen nothing like this. Like I just referenced not too long ago. I haven't seen nothing like this since Cloverfield Lane. It's been a while since I've seen a movie that took me in a couple of turns. I'm not saying they were hard turns, but they were turns that made me sit up. It made me sit up and made me say, okay, this is a movie that kind of made me feel like, okay, this is what I like going to movies for. This is why I like watching movies, because there's been a lot of movies that's been coming out that I haven't been interested in. You know, I did 3 reviews last year of Magazine Dreams, Sinners, and F1, and to me, those were the best movies out of the year. Well, let me not say that, because this came out last year. So I'll put this on the list of movies that I watched from last year that made me like, oh, okay, yeah. I'll put that on the list that it's one of the worthy movies for you to watch for 2025, all right? But let me get back on track. So shout out to the director. I'm going to call him Yorgos, because I'm not even going to try to butcher his last name. Shout out to him for the direction that he took in his movie. And I want to say, too, shout out to the way the movie was shot, the cinematography. This movie was shot, and I want to say, I'm not a camera dude, and I'm not a photography dude, but it was shot in these wide shots, these long shots, where you didn't have a lot of close-ups. You had these long shots of full scenery, where it's just you get to take in the whole scenery, and the shots, it would be in one place, the camera would kind of pan over this for you to see where the character was going. And I like that. For some reason, it was a satisfying way that it was shot. It wasn't shot in too many close-ups. I feel like you had close-ups when it was needed. When characters were talking and giving their speeches and really driving their points home, that's where the close-up shots were. But I also kind of feel like with those long shots, it gave you a sense of what the environment was. Because to me, the environment created a whole atmosphere, and it created a character. To me, the whole atmosphere, the environment was a character in this movie, based on what these two conspiracy theorists, but what Teddy was trying to convey, that hey, these aliens are trying to destroy the Earth. They're coming back during the lunar eclipse. So it was interesting to see the way it was shot. And shout out to the cinematographer for doing that, man. I think that was a very interesting choice to film this movie in that particular way. And there's some other things in here that on first watch you catch it, but I know you can catch it. I know I'm gonna catch it more on the second watch. So, and I'm gonna go back and watch it because I know there's a lot of things that I missed. There were certain little gems and little nuggets that I was catching the first time, and I was noticing it while I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, like with Teddy, he worked at the company that Emma Stone's character was running. Didn't know that at first until they have a scene with him working inside of the plant, and there's a picture of her on the wall, and I'm like, oh wow, he works at this plant. So it makes you think he's got some other intel going on with why he's thinking that she's this alien. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of other little things going on. There's a lot of little other things going on in this movie where, like I said, I thought when it picked up, like I said, when it picked up and it took that turn, I thought it was going to be one particular way. I thought certain things was picked up by the characters, and it was going to go one way, and then it ended up being something else, and then it ended up turning into something else again. So yeah, man, I enjoyed this movie, man. I really did enjoy this movie. Shout out to Emma Stone, who, like I said, she's become one of my favorite actresses, man. From Superbad, she was in Superbad, The Help, a couple other films she was in. Jesse Plemons, I don't really remember him in anything else. I've seen him in other stuff, but I can't think off the top of my head what I have seen him in. But he did a good job in this film, playing that paranoid, anxious, worried type character, because you didn't believe him at first. I didn't believe him at first. I thought he was just this dude who had mental issues. I thought he had mental issues, and along with his cousin, which is Don, I'm thinking he's kind of not almost borderline where Don is, because you can see Don is a little bit more. I don't want to say touched. He's a little bit more on a spectrum level, if you want to call it that. He's a little bit more. You can tell he has a little bit more mental problems going on. You can see it in his character, and I'm thinking Teddy is not too far from where Don is. You know what I mean? I just think, okay, he's going through what he's doing, and as he's going through all this other stuff, and then too, as he's going through all this other stuff, you kind of see he has his own traumas. And like I said, he does have his traumas, because there's another part in the movie where you see, like, okay, well, maybe that is aiding in what he's thinking. So with all of these different elements to Teddy's character, you kind of thinking like, oh, he's bullshitting. He's in his own world. He's thinking what he's thinking. And it turns out that what he's thinking has been true the whole time. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So shout out to Jesse Plemons for playing that character and portraying that character the way he portrayed that character. Like I said, Emma Stone, I loved what Emma Stone did with the character. She played this CEO, very smart, very confident woman. And I like the way she played it. I like the way she played all aspects of her character, and I'm gonna leave that like that. I love the way she did that. My man Aiden Delbus, he played Don. Now I don't know if he's really an actor on the spectrum. If he's not, kudos to him. He did a great job, man. He did a great job in portraying that character, because he knew something wasn't quite right with Teddy. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, I think now in this day and age, a lot of people feel like if you have autism and you're on the spectrum, that you don't have no smarts. Autism, or people with autism, are some smart human beings. Just because they're on the spectrum, they like certain things a certain way, doesn't mean they don't have no smarts. Doesn't mean that they're dumb. And with Don, you can tell that he knows something is not quite right with Teddy, because he believes him, but he doesn't believe him. And he believes him because he loves him, but he knows, hey, look, he's doing something bad. And he can't put his finger on it, but he knows, and he feels it in his spirit, that something's not quite right with what Teddy's doing. And maybe what he's telling me about Emma Stone's character isn't true. So I like what he did. Like I said, if he's not on the spectrum, good job in his acting, because he did a phenomenal job in playing the character of Don. And it's not too many other characters, man. It's only well, there's the character, the cop, but he has his own story, which it wasn't too long, but you can see that it goes into what was going on with Teddy, and you don't need a lot of information about that, about what he's trying to get to. It's kind of implied, and you can figure it out. You got any kind of brains inside of your head, you can figure out exactly what happened. You put it like that. You can figure out what happened, and you know it's unfortunate, but you can figure it out. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout outs to it. Shout out to this movie, man. This was a good movie. Very original. Very well original to the point where we haven't seen, to me, I haven't seen nothing like this in a long time. I haven't seen nothing like this that took me through these twists and turns like this. I don't even remember the last movie that really took me through. I don't remember the last movie that really took me through some twists and turns like this that made me be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? To me, one of the movies that always took me and took me for a hard turn was Gone Girl. That is one of the best turns in movie history to me. One of the best turns. But I feel like I haven't seen nothing like this in a long time. As I'm thinking back, man, I really can't think of a movie that I've seen in recent years that really had me like, I didn't see that coming. You know, because a lot of times I'll see a movie and then I'll see it, and after seeing so many movies for so long, you kind of start getting what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And then after a while, you know, you see the turn and you're like, okay, I kind of expected that. So it doesn't really shock you too much. But this one shocked me, you know, because it took, like I said, it took me in one turn and then another one. It took me through two turns that I didn't really know. And I like that. And, you know, I like that. It put a smile on my face because, like I said, as I tell y'all all the time, I'm a sucker for a good story. And when stories do that, when they take me through roller coasters and twists and turns like that, I love it, man. I can't get enough of it. I cannot get enough of it. All right. So getting to the scale on my scale, on a 5 thumbs up scale, what do I give Bugonia? What do I give Bugonia? I kind of want to give it 5. And I'm trying to look for some flaws. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I give Bugonia a 4.5. Now, some people might feel differently, but I don't care. That ain't your scale. This ain't your scale. This is my scale. So I give Bugonia 4.5 thumbs up. I would give it 5. The only reason why I don't give it 5 was, oh God, I'm about to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm not going to spoil it. The only reason why I won't give it 5 is because of what happened to the cop character, which I feel like didn't have to happen. It happened, but oh man, do I feel like it needed to happen to the cop character, man? I'm playing it back, and as I'm playing it back, I'm trying to think, should that had happened to him? And I'm like, well, maybe it should have. Excuse me. But I'm still going to keep my scale at 4.5. I'm bordering 5, but I'm going to keep it at 4.5. And I really don't know what's stopping me from keeping it from 5, because now that I kind of thought about it, about what happened to the cop character, it kind of really did serve the story. So, oh man, do I want to give it 5? Fuck it. I'm going to give Bugonia 5 thumbs up. Check it out, man. It's definitely a movie you should check out. Check the movie out. Check it out. Now, I will warn y'all, it's a little bit of a slow burn in the beginning. About the first 30 to 45 minutes, it's a little bit of a drag. Not dragging to the point where you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's a drag, but it's not one of those drags where it's like, oh my God, can we please get this shit cracking? Please, can we get it going? It's a slow drag because I understand they got to build up the story, and you got to get why Teddy's doing what he's doing, and then you have to get the shock of Emma Stone's character. So once we get through all of that, you know, I thought 45 minutes had went past and it was only 30. I was like, oh my God, I thought we was further along into the movie. And I paused it, and that shit was at 31 minutes and something seconds. And I'm like, oh my God, I got an hour. I got an hour, 45 minutes to go in this shit. This is before everything else jumped off. You know what I mean? But I was like, oh my God, I got an hour and 45 minutes of this movie to go. Because I really thought it was gonna be this pace the entire film. But like I said, it picked up. But when it picked up, now I understand it started out slow, and then as it started out slow, then it just started revving up, and then it started getting going. And once it started getting going, then it was like, okay, we good. So I'm gonna give Bugonia 5 thumbs up, man. 5 thumbs up for the acting. I enjoyed the acting. 5 thumbs up from the direction. Definitely 5 thumbs up for the cinematography of the film, the way the film was shot. Oh, and the score. The score aided in the 2. I love the score. The score had it had some dramatic elements of it in it of certain situations and certain scenes that was going on. So I enjoyed the score of the movie. It aided in the movie. It didn't take away from what the movie was. You know what I mean? So 5 thumbs up to Bugonia. So y'all let me know how y'all feel. If y'all have seen this movie, put some comments down below. Let me know how you feel about the movie. Let me know if y'all felt like this was a strong story, if it was a strong film, if it wasn't a strong film, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. You know what I mean? Put some comments below and let me know how you feel. All right? So, as for everything else, like, comment, subscribe to the page. We moving it along. It feels good to be back to this again. But like I said, there hasn't been a lot of films that I've been watching to me that I really haven't been excited to review, and I'm trying to give them a chance. That doesn't mean I didn't see any movies. I saw a couple films, and I might do some reviews about them. But like I said, I want to watch them again. I want to watch them again and see how I feel about doing it. Maybe I might feel a little bit different when I watch them again, and then I might go ahead and put out a movie review. But upon first watch, I wasn't really too excited about it. I watched this, and on first watch, I'm like, all right, I got to do a movie review because, hey, it's 2026 and I haven't done one yet. So let's get it cracking, all right? All right, so y'all know what this is. This is Short Man Filmworks. I'm your man, Mr. Mark Sharp, and these are the Everyday Man's Film Reviews. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all on the next one.